How are you? Hello, hello.
Hi, I'm okay. I got a little bit busy with cleaning, and I was like, oh shit, like I gotta go. So yeah,
Oh my
hopefully you weren't
God,
waiting
no, I get
long.
that. Man. So welcome to the platform. This is an honor and a privilege to have you on here. So thank you for just like reaching out during Jack's live, and then you and I talked for a little bit. So I'm excited for this interview. So
Yeah.
welcome. For those who don't know who you are, what you do, like where you from, let us know what's going on, what you got.
Well, my name is Sammy B, and I am an artist, poet, writer, web designer, and I also like clean houses and do massages. So if you live in my area, come holler at your girl. But yeah, so I'm on disability, so I dedicate my life to the arts and things of that nature and teaching other people how to do art, usually teaching little kids, but start them young.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's awesome though. Like even though you're on disability, but you're not letting the disability define you. Like you're using that and you're making it into your own in a way where no, I'm gonna use my art. I'm gonna do everything I can offer and utilize it. And I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing. For the first question I'm gonna ask, when it comes to poetry and writing and creativeness and stuff like that, how did that all start for you?
um well, when I was little, I used to read a lot, and obviously if you read a lot, you write a lot. And I think when I was 7 or 8, my mom got me a writing tutor because I scored low on the writing section on the SATs, because I was living in California back then. So you took
Okay.
SATs. It wasn't the actual SATs, but it was like a practice SAT. So you took that every year. I scored low on my writing, so she got me a writing tutor. And then, you know, after that, I just always wrote poetry because it was always an assignment of mine. You know what I mean? Teachers always assign poetry, English teachers, um, and I just had a knack for it, I guess, because my teachers usually really liked my poetry, so they encouraged it a lot. So I remember I went to like a special, like only 2 kids from every school could go, and the English teacher had to pick the special. So she picked me to go to this like poetry seminar thing that was like all day. So that was the first time that I got exposed to like the poetry world in terms
Mm.
of, poets making money and going to schools and like different educational facilities, and teaching writing workshops and things like that. So that was in high school that I experienced that.
Mm. So you did it as an assignment, and then from there you went to this poetry thing, and then it seems like as if that from there is where everything took off. What was it about poetry that fascinated you?
Um, I don't know if it fascinates me so much as it's just a way for me to get out like my feelings. It's for me to express myself. And I don't really feel like I express myself well in like real life. Like I can
Mm.
express myself well right now when like I'm being interviewed, but if I'm like just with my friend or whatever, mm, maybe not.
So talk to me about like talk to me about that, like as far as your feelings and all that stuff. Because I was watching some of your videos, and I noticed you have a certain way of describing. And I definitely I want to talk to you about the oceans piece, because that was pretty intriguing as well. Because it's not what you said, but the way you described it, the grain with the sand, like how did all that develop the way it did? Because that is very interesting. The way you broke things down like that, that is very interesting. I wanted to ask you about it. Like, how did you come up with those metaphors the way you did? Because that is powerful.
Well, the ocean metaphor, like you love me like the ocean, that was an old, shorter poem. It went like you love me like the ocean, you come to me in waves, and then you leave and I become softer sand. Like it was something like that. And I revisited that old short poem and I made it a longer poem. And I was like, I added the metaphor of like the sky and the rain, and that was kind of like a second person.
Mm.
um, but yeah, so uh, I would say I'm not really sure how it came about per se, but I can say that like the people I was writing about, one seemed like an ocean, one seemed like the sky. I don't know. That's just I don't know. That's just the best way I can describe it.
Wait, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. Marcus with the dollar sign. Hi.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I
No
just had to put something
problem.
on my door. Sorry about that. But oh man, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Okay, so yeah, so okay, that's awesome. That the way you were describing all that. So, in your poetry, right? Like, how has that helped as far as the expression of the emotion, all that stuff? Like, when you look back, like, let's say, okay, I wrote a piece, boom. Like, when you look back at it, what is your like initial reactions when you write your pieces, or when you write your thoughts and it becomes pieces? Like, what how does that look like to you?
I actually don't usually. I don't even realize that like what my poem is about until usually after I've performed it. Like I'll think it's about something else, but then I'll realize that like, oh wait, it's also about this. Or oh wait, it's also about this. Um, so I feel like it's a lot of like my subconscious thoughts in like one poem, but like if I broke it down, it's like five stories in one poem, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, it's a metaphor for this, but it's also a metaphor for this other situation, completely separate. And it's also a metaphor for this other situation over here, that's also completely separate. You know, so yeah,
Um,
it's something that like I'm not even really sure. So like I perform it, and sometimes it's like it wasn't about this time I performed it, but because who was in the room or like, you know what I mean? Then
wait, I can't
oh,
hear you too
now
well.
it's about this. You know what I'm saying?
Just so you know, I couldn't hear a lot what you said. For some reason, the voice, like the volume went
Oh,
low for some
I'm sorry.
reason. No, no, it's fine.
Okay. Well, what I was saying is that I feel like subconsciously I have a lot of thoughts and I'll put them in a poem and like I'll perform it one time and it'll be about this situation, but then I'll perform it another time and because of like who's in the room or like, you know, who's there or like whatever, it'll suddenly become about this. It wasn't like my original intention to write it about this, but it like, oh, it fits this situation. So let me talk about this now. Um, yeah, I don't know if that made sense, but mm.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. For example, so when you perform your piece, do you think there's a difference between like when you read your piece and opposed to performing your piece? Like in your eyes, how does that look like? And do you think reading the piece and opposed to performing the piece, do you think the emotions are different? Are they like again, like in your eyes, how does that look like for you?
um, if I perform a piece, typically I'll have it fully memorized and I can like act out and stuff. Um, Reading a piece, you know, I do think it's different. I do think it's different when you read a piece and versus you performing a piece. Um, I feel like performing a piece is like when you're really in that piece. Like you are that piece for that moment in time. You are that piece. Whereas if you're just reading it, it's like, oh, hey, like this is what I wrote. Let me just share it. And you say your piece or whatever. Like you still might do a good job, but I do feel like being a page poet is different from being a performance poet. And a lot of poetry readings are page poets reading their poetry. They're not slam poets performing their poetry. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to be a slam poet performing their poetry, but I'm saying there is a distinct difference between the two, and I don't think that we should make people feel less than for being a page poet versus a performance poet, because a lot of performance pieces sound really good, but it looks like shit on paper. So it's really not that interesting unless you read it out loud. So there's just different flavors of poets, right?
Okay. No, I love that how you said that, because that is, I guess I never really looked at it that way. You said the performance, like when you're performing a piece, you said writing it on paper it looks like shit, and opposed to something you wrote and then the person's reading off the paper. That's very interesting though. I don't know too much about the terminologies of poetry, so like when they say slam poetry, like what is that? Like you're like slamming somebody, or it's just the way you perform the poetry? Like what is that exactly? Because I don't think I never really understood that, to be honest.
A slam poet is like so slam poets are poets who perform for cash, so they like compete for money, and those are done at slams. A slam poem typically will be very like high emotion, and will have like some twist at the end and like kind of slams you, you know what I mean? But it's not always either. Any poem can be a slam poem. But the difference is that like in a slam, your poems are scored from like 1 to 10. And you know, a lot of poets don't like that because it's like, I just poured my entire soul to you and you gave me a 7.8. What? So there's some poets who are completely anti-slam culture. Like they make fun of slam poets. They're not about slam at all. And then there's other poets who like think it's a waste of time unless they're getting money. You know what I'm saying? So it's again different poets, different goals, different. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a slam poet. I tend to think of performance poets as slam poets because you're performing as a slam poet because you're competing for money. If you're just a page poet and you're just reading your poetry, there's no like pressure to sell. Unless you're selling books, maybe there's pressure to sell books, but you don't have to sell your performance necessarily.
Okay. No, like I always tell people when I do these interviews, I'm learning from you, so I'm learning a lot right now. That is wow. So, I wanted to ask you about, because I noticed on your from what I've seen, you do a lot of like performance and stuff like that. I know you've done music, you've done poetry and stuff. What's it like in your eyes? What's it like to be on that stage? Like, okay, so talk to me about the first time you ever went on the stage. And I'm not talking about the high school. I'm talking about like afterwards and stuff like that. When you first read a piece on stage and all that, like how did can you walk me through all that when you first did that, the first time you did it? How did you feel? What was going through your mind and all that? Like how did that look like for you?
Well, my first poetry performance was actually when I was 7, because I was in the gifted and talented education program, and we had a teacher teach us public speaking. And for our project, we had to memorize a poem and perform it. So I performed this piece called Sister for Sale by Shel Silverstein. And it went like, sister for sale, when crying, blah, 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 sister for sale. So I like physically took my sister and I was like, you know, sister for sale, and she was
Yeah.
crying the whole time because she thought that I was actually selling her for real.
Oh wow, that is funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Shel Silverstein's a very interesting writer. I actually have the missing piece. I have the missing piece, like the actual book. I feel like that book really, even though it's a children's book, but if you really look at the story behind it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of how we are in life, right? Because we are that circle when we're looking for the missing piece, and then when you find your missing piece, but then it's not. Wait, but now I miss out on the things I enjoy. Now I'm detaching myself from the missing piece, and it's like, okay, I don't want to fuck with you anymore, kind of thing. And I'm just like, oh shit, wait a second, I didn't realize the moral of the story. Like, oh snap, oh my god.
So
But yeah,
this is my missing piece meets the big O
yo,
tattoo.
that is dope. That is dope.
Yeah,
Oh
this is kind of
shit,
just stacked on top of each other.
yo, that's awesome. Wow.
So it's the sequel to the missing piece, I think. The missing piece meets the
Okay.
big O. Yes.
I think that is the sequel. I don't know the orders. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know like the order of the. You know, it's funny when I first. If they're gonna laugh at me, but when I first heard of just the book itself, um, it was actually an episode of Family Guy. Like I've seen it, but I didn't know like it was called that. And it was an episode where Quagmire was like, "Oh, this has got me through my troubles." He was trying to give it to Meg. I'm like, "Wait, is that a real book?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's a children's book." But I was like, "Oh, but I like the book, so I bought the book." But the way Family Guy portrayed it, it made it seem like it was like this big novel, but it was really just this book. You know, I'm like, "Oh my god." But it's interesting though how sometimes a show like that can introduce you to things and then you get intrigued by that. So that was pretty cool. But that's when I first heard of that book, that of Arthur Shel Silverstein. So for those who are just joining us, or if you're watching the replay, we're having an interview with Sammy B. We're talking about her life, her inspirations, and stuff like that. And yeah, so I wanted to ask if you had if you could read a piece for us or perform a piece for us so we can get an idea of how you are as far as like your poetry and stuff.
Sure. This one is called Throwing a Banana Peel for Love. Love, you are so cute. Tell me, what are you up to? You see me? I'm about to spit game like Nintendo, and I just need to know, do you want to join my Mario Party? Or maybe you'd prefer to play Mario Kart, me versus you, because I be out here on these streets, out on the racetrack, with my banana peel in hand, ready to throw any sudden thing at you to catch you slipping, and you will zip right past me to zap me with your lightning, which is to say, your light shocks me to my core. But hey, we don't need to play games. It was just a suggestion. You see, if you're looking to be a little more chill, we can Netflix and chill. You see, I can grab a bottle and a bucket of ice. I can keep it really cool. Yeah, I can make you feel real nice. You see me? I went to massage school, so I can massage those kinks out your back while we watch TV. Nothing kinky yet, just me flattening the knots out of your body pressed against my body. And when you're feeling nice and relaxed, we can heat it up and add some spice, because you need a taste of me in your life. Flavor Asian kimchi and rice, red pepper flakes peppering the roof of this poet's mouth with its heat. And I know you know what a poet's mouth can do. I know you need to come too, so let me come with you to recite my lines of poetry to your ooh. I'm so sorry, Daddy. You see, I know that sounds disrespectful. Please don't take it as disrespect. No, it's just that after I'm done trying to understand the intellectual in you, the things that make you tick and inspire those emotional complexities in you, those hidden fears and desires that push that motivational fire in you, and that drive in you. I just want to disconnect from the dialect and find the sexual in you. You see, I just want to feel you. And not just in my body, but in my soul. Turn all of my empathy for your destiny into our chemistry as we settle helplessly into our ecstasy, holding each other helplessly, endlessly, like it's our specialty. Baby, I'm saying this selfishly. Just tell me what intensity you want. I can go fast and I can go slow. And if you'd like to get serious, I can get serious. If you'd like an experience, I'll give you an experience. We can go out on an actual date and get to know each other. I can tell you my secrets and you can tell me your secrets, whispered one by one under hushed tones and flickering candlelight in a dark room where my shadow can convince your shadow my body is worth following. I will not waste your time. You just tell me honestly what you want from me and I got you. I see you. You're out here. You're doing your thing. And I really don't want to stop you. So just tell me when you want me, really. See, I believe love is patient and kind, and love is foolishly the only thing on my mind when I look at you. It is the first thing I want to commit to, followed only by you. I'm not in love yet, but trust me, I can get there. So if you would like to get there with me, I promise no greater happiness, pleasure, or bliss can exist. So if you'd like to play a game with me, my love, just give me a call. And if you don't, I'll be around. I'll just try again tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here, ready with my games, my kimchi and rice, and my shadow. So you have my number. Call me. I'll leave you be for real now, but please don't forget about me on these streets now. Ready to go with my banana peel in hand, ready to go, ready to throw, ready to show you that I am ready to know you. Inside and outside, ugly and beautiful, all of your sins forgiven, and a heavenly pleasure that could only ever measure into a treasure we could ever call love. Love is the first thing I'm willing to commit to. I only hope it's followed by you.
Oh shit! Wow! Yo! Oh my god! Wow! What? Yo! Yo! Hold up! You got? Oh my god! Wow! 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 Woo! Yo, my heart's like throbbing like right now. It's oh shit! Damn! I wish I could do shit like that. I don't, yo, not even close. Oh my god. Wow.
So it took me
Wow.
a really long time to memorize that piece.
Mm.
And I still stumble over certain parts, but yeah.
That was phenomenal. Oh my god.
Thank
Wow. Wow.
you.
Wow. Mm. Yo, I gotta let that sink in because yo, I saw a whole bunch of things like visualizing everything, man. I seen the whole playing Mario Kart, but then you know what? Let's just lay down together. Let's just have a good time. Let's just talk bullshit. Okay, let's go back to playing the game. Oh, I'm gonna tickle you a little bit. Oh, but let me massage that knot right there on the bottom of your back right there. Like I saw all this stuff. It's oh shit. Wow. But at the end of the day, love is the essence. Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we all do this for love. We do it out of love. We do it because we want to love. And it's like that's the way that piece spoke to me. Oh my god! Wow! Like that flow, like I was like, oh shit! Wow! Mm, let's go, man. Yo. Nah, thank you so much for reading that. That is, oh man. So when you memorize your pieces, I wanted to ask also, like in your like depending on the piece, how long does it typically take you for you to memorize a piece and remembering the flow of how you want the piece to sound like and all that stuff? Like, how does that look like for you?
Um, it depends. I really don't memorize my pieces too often just because I have memory problems because I take like my medication and I also have like a bunch of mental health issues. So like it just all affects my memory. But I want to say that piece I had it memorized after like a month, and then,
Okay.
but it was like me performing it, like trying to remember it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I don't think I got it to the point of like where it like flowed out of me until like maybe 6 months in. Um, and after that, I mean, there's a couple of pieces I have memorized, but that one is that one is like I know this one for sure. It's also my happiest poem. Most of my other poems are not quite so optimistic, let's say, because I'm not even gonna say that's necessarily a happy poem, because it's not like I get with the person in the end. I'm just hoping I will. But yeah, I would say that's my most like optimistic, positive poem.
Yeah, but no, that makes sense what you're saying, right? Because I'm like, hey, listen, I'm on the other side of that phone call. All you need is a phone call. Just hit me up. I'm here. But if we bump into each other in the streets, don't forget about me, please. Like, here, hello. Like, no, and I think that makes sense, right? I'm gonna be optimistic enough to know, like, you know what? I think you're gonna take up my offer. I really believe that. That's the way that I'm looking at that as well. And yeah, I just enjoy that. You said the whole Mario Kart thing and everything. That was dope. That was legitimately dope. Wow. 'Cause I know you said earlier also, um, you also do graphic designing. How did that start for you as far as the graphic designing aspect of it?
Um, my dad had a website where he sold swimsuit issue magazine collectibles. So he would make graphics for his website. So I downloaded GIMP, which is like a free open source program, and I was playing with that. And then like my job, because I was working at a play and trade video game store at the time, they wanted me to make like graphics for them, so I started doing that. And yeah, I just always did it. I took a graphic design class in college too, so I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. And you still do that today, like as far as like the graphics and stuff like that. Like, what other projects have you done besides the video game store? That's pretty interesting.
I made logos for a couple of businesses. I've, done like simple flyers. Like I never do anything too complicated. It's not that I can't, but I just stick to simple stuff. I don't like doing anything that requires too much work. So
No, that makes sense. No, that makes perfect sense. Um, awesome, awesome. No, that makes perfect sense, right? Because you figure, you know what, this is the simplest thing, but you know what, but it gives the people the intrigue. Because sometimes the best ones are sometimes the simplest ones too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. I just always like the simple design of things. So.
That makes sense. And but have you done anything like that? Have you built websites too, or is just only designing logos and stuff?
Yeah, I've built like my own websites. I've built websites for other people's companies. I used to run a daycare, like preschool program. Um I like redid their website. I used to have a cleaning business. I used to do a lot of things. Um
Ah, okay. So you like an entrepreneur in a way.
Yes and no. I'm a disabled entrepreneur, right? So that means I'm an entrepreneur up until I make $1,000 for the month, and then after I make $1,000, I stop because if I make any more than that, I lose my benefits. So
Ah,
that's why I do a lot of like volunteering for other people or like helping out other people's projects. And it's just because I know that like it's really hard to get things done, and especially like if you don't have money, and it's usually the most talented people who don't have any money, right? And like I know how hard it is, so like I try to help out as much as I can. Sometimes it backfires on me, but yeah, I just always try to help out other people with their projects or like their events or whatever. So it's like a lot of people will think that like I'm working for them, or like I'm part of their team, and it's like no, I'm really just here
Right,
helping
right.
promote.
No, that makes sense. I feel you on that. And I'm the same way when it comes like helping people. Like I love doing that too. This is why I do this, because I love to get people's voices out there, really help people out. And like however I can, yeah, like I do this, but then like I don't, I also come here for friendship, and I made a lot of great friends. But isn't it crazy how the your biggest supporters are the people you don't really know that well, and opposed to like the people you do know? Like it's so intriguing to me. I'm like, wait, so not even my own family will support me in a certain way, but then the people I don't know, like a stranger, I get more support from them, which is so interesting. It's intriguing with the whole like how that stuff works in life. I don't know if I blame social media for that, but yeah. But no, I definitely enjoyed like that, helping people and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask you, now that we touched on that topic, what is it about helping people that makes you feel good? Like what, like why is it that you do that? Like what is it, like is it, do you do it just because, or is it more like, hey, like I understand where you're coming from, kind of like how does that look like for you?
Part of it is like hopefully community building, which that never works out for me, but I try to community build, right? Usually what ends up happening is I make all the friends first, then I get into fights with everybody, and because I got into fights with everybody, they all become friends with each other, and now because they're all friends with each other, now they're working together. It never would have happened without me, but anyway, no, I'm kidding. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, it's part of it's community building. Part of it is like, well, I might need help one day, so I should help you.
mm,
I might want help later, which also doesn't always work out because not everybody helps out who helps them, right? And then another part of it is uh sometimes I just want to die. So like, what's the best way to fight that? For me, I feel like, all right, help someone else not want to die. I don't know.
no, 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 it makes sense what you're saying, and I definitely respect that. As far as like the help, yeah, you know what? I think what kind of kills me about that is the fact that, yeah, like there's people I've helped out, but then I feel like they take it for granted because there's certain things you can't get from anybody else, right? And it's like, I've had situations like that too, even on my platform when I first started this back in 2020, and even to this day, I went through a lot of people, as far as like members of the team or just overall, and it just sucks when like what I think what I've learned from all that is like don't get too close to people, I guess, because then like the closer you get, sometimes it just becomes like, okay, no, like I don't want to fuck with you kind of thing. The thing with me is, and I've always said this, I don't invite just anybody on here, and it's for a good reason. I think you just pretty much confirmed that for me as far as like the why we have to be discerning about our surroundings. Because yeah, do I want to have do we want to? Oh my God, I can't talk English. Uh, do we want to bring everybody in? Yeah. Can we bring everybody in? Maybe. But it sucks because it's like saying, yeah, college is for everybody, but not everybody has to accept college, right? And the same way, I think for me, yeah, I'm just not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. And I definitely agree with you when you say that again, I do it because I struggle with that too. I do struggle with depression and stuff like that, and there's times like my wife has to smack me up sometimes and be like, babe, like You know, because there are times I just want to die and shit like that. I get that. I get that. You know, part of that growing up was like verbal abuse and shit like that, and a lot of that was being put down, being told no. So
I
my
don't know.
thing
Like
was like,
in my family, my mom grew up calling us SP, which was short for stupid. So it's like I got called stupid my entire life, and I thought it was funny. Like I don't know.
hmm, you
Like that
know
that's
what it is
how
though with me?
abuse is
Yeah.
normalized in my life.
Ah, see, like the thing is, so when I say verbal abuse, I think, in my honest opinion, I think it was an unintentional verbal abuse. I don't think they understood it was verbal abusive behavior because I grew up with Puerto Rican parents, and it was like you said, oh, I like why, like you're so stupid or whatever. So I think they were saying, hey, come on, don't do that. But the delivery was always like,
Yeah, a little
damn, why are you being so
extra.
harsh?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't think they meant to be harsh, but it's like, okay, but you are being harsh, but they don't understand. Especially if you're like born in
Yeah.
the islands, they don't really understand that. But I've developed low self-esteem because of that. So little by little, I feel like this community has helped me little little by little overcome that a little bit. And this is also a part of why I created this platform too, because I know there's other people like me that don't have a voice or never had a chance to have a voice. So I figured if I can give back, be different, and I look at it as, okay, you know what? If I because there's all these other platforms, but how can I stand out and earn that trust with people that no matter what happens, that when they see me, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like he's giving back because he really wants this to do this, not because he feels like he has to. No, I do it because I love doing this. I love having these, you know, powerful conversations, and it's important, you know. And I think there's just things that are not talked about a lot, and we need to have these conversations, you know. And have you ever, like, 'cause I know you say it was normalized growing up, but have you ever like struggled with like the whole low self-esteem thing, even though I'm pretty sure that you probably thought it wasn't intentional, but like over time, like has that affected you in your life in any kind of way?
Um, I mean, I don't. I feel like low self-esteem wasn't my issue.
Okay.
Like I hmm, I don't think I have low self-esteem so much as I have moments where I I respect myself always, right? But I also may not like myself. Like respecting and liking someone, there's two separate things, right? So when you say like, oh, your self-esteem, I think of that more as like my self-respect, myself, like how I view myself. Like I think everyone is a human and like I don't know what your religious beliefs are, but like if you go by the Christian belief, then like everyone is a sinner, right? That's, so it's like I fucked up, you fucked up. Like, hi, we're fucked up, but it's about like are you trying to get better, right? So
Yes.
I
No, I agree
wasn't,
with you.
huh?
No, I said I agree with you with what you're saying. I'm sorry if I lost your train of thought. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just like what you said was very deep because like you said, okay, we fucked up, but are you trying to get better? And I love that you said that because I think people like the idea of getting better, but they don't actually do it. They say they are, but they don't actually do it. And opposed to people who are fighting to get better, because there's the realness. Okay, yeah, you legit in certain areas of your life you can't get better, but in this other areas you can. But you use that in a way to influence somebody else that inspires other people. I don't know if that made sense what I said, but that really stood out to me just now because it's that I think that's the main important thing. I want to get better, but am I actually trying to get better? Like that's very, I don't know, that kind of struck a nerve in me in a good way, not in a bad way. I just felt like I'm very
Yeah.
reflective.
I mean, it's, I also think that like a lot of people might not see how, you know what I mean? Like or I might not even see how like I'm improving in some aspects because I'm so focused on like the one aspect where I'm not.
Mm.
I know I do that a lot. I've done that a lot in the past like couple of years where it's like I'm doing so much better in all these other areas of my life compared to like 2 years ago. But I'm I'm just so focused on like I haven't gotten better at this though. Like, why am I not getting better at this? I'm stuck on this. Why can't I get better? But yeah. So I don't know. That's how I view my self-esteem. It's not that like I don't have it. Like I just don't even think like I don't think I'm better. I don't think I'm worse. I just think that like I'm trying my best, and that's literally all I can do.
Amen. Amen to that. No, and I admire you for that. Again, I'm always learning from everybody I have on here. I'm learning a lot from you right now too, because I'm like, damn, that really speaks to me a lot too. Because I think I need to practice that whole, you know what? Instead of telling myself, you know what, I have low self-esteem, I say, no, you know what? It's not my low self-esteem. The low self-esteem is there, but I'm not gonna claim it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's rather, you know what? Like I shouldn't let those things determine how I see myself. And I think that's important. And I think that's not talked about enough either, right? Because, again, like, especially depends on how you grow up or what your beliefs are, or just even what you're surrounded with too. How can we, I guess, as a people, how can we do better in a way that, you know what, like that self-respect. And I think that, because I feel like if I keep putting myself down, that means I'm not respecting myself. That's just the way I'm seeing it. And it's like, you know what, no, that's why I struggle with self-love and stuff like that. So you know what, I'm not respecting myself if I hate myself, if I'm not respecting myself. So you know what, how can I do better so I can start having that self-love and that self-respect and stuff like that. And I think you hit the nail on the coffin. I think that's important. And yeah, that's definitely important. So I'm glad you said that, because I feel like that's something for me to think about now. Like, I'm a very reflective person, so I study myself a lot. So I'm just like, you know what, like I don't know. I feel like you really gave me a lot to think about tonight, so that's good for sure.
Yeah. I'm just smoking and talking. I'm glad you had revelations.
Oh man, so thank you so much for that. And honestly, I just want to say, like, thank you for just being yourself. Thank you for just not caring what people think about you. That at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna still live my life no matter what. And that's, again, my hands off to you. So much respect for you because of that, because that's hard. That struggle is real sometimes, and you do everything in your power to maintain that. And so I just want to give you, my hands off to you, because again, that's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived my life thus far, like trying not to give an F about what anyone says to me, including the government. So, we're just gonna keep on that track.
Yeah. No, amen. No, amen to that. Amen to that.
I don't care if I lose like all my Instagram followers. I don't care, like, because I'm still like at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be at home with my dog, chilling and like watching YouTube and smoking weed, and I'm still fine. You know what I mean? So what can anyone even really, you know?
Yeah. Amen to that. Wow. Amen to that. So we are almost close to the end. So I always ask this to everybody that I've interviewed. I'm gonna ask you the same question. So when Sammy B is not here anymore, we go old. We're old. We're not in this world anymore. When people say your name, when people hear your name, what would you like to be remembered for? What impact do you want to leave behind?
I hope that anytime my name is mentioned, people feel fear in their hearts genuinely. I hope that they whisper of all of the wild rumors about me that may or may not be true. Who knows? Who cares? I just want you to say them. And I want to go down in history as like some like I don't know, what did she do? I don't know. She just did whatever she wanted, and she was a wild one, and we loved her, but also we were very frightened of her. Like that's ultimately what I would like.
Hey,
But it's like one of those things where it's like I know that I've helped like a lot of people, right? But like I don't want other people to know. You know what I'm saying? So like if I am going to be known for something, I hope it's something that like I didn't even do. Cuz like there's a lot of rumors out there. Like you can pick anyone.
oh damn.
um yeah, cuz it's just like I'd rather not be known. Like maybe I'll be known for like my art and my poetry, but um I don't particularly even want to be known for my poetry. Like I'll perform it, you know. I have a feature coming up at the Wilma Theater. So like I'll perform if you want me to perform, if you pay me. But I don't necessarily want my poetry to be like super like I don't want it to go viral because like my poetry is so personal to me that it's like I will release it. I want like people who like me to watch it, you know what I mean? And like to read it and to, you know, hopefully gain something from me sharing it. But it's not my goal to be known for being a poet. So
Mm.
that's just like I don't know, what do I want to be known for? I don't know, being scary, just sucking every poet who I like dick and not caring who says anything about it. Like I don't care. Do you care? I don't care. I'm saying too much. I'm saying too much.
Yeah, listen, this show is a free space for anybody. I don't have any boundaries as far as like what people say on here. This is all about you. Say whatever you want. I've had people say some real crazy shit on here. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't, trust me, I've had some people say some wild shit. I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever. It's your time, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I smoked before this. That's my bad. I shouldn't have
no,
smoked.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Like stuff like that doesn't bother me and stuff like that. I appreciate you even like being here. So again, I appreciate that. Again,
Yeah.
uh,
No, thank you for having me. Um, I do. I've done like a lot of work with like disability advocacy in the past and things like that because I'm on disability, so obviously. But so I was looking forward to this conversation because it's like I don't want to be known as like Sammy B the poet. I want my poems to cause a change, if that makes sense. Like I want people to think about what I say. Like when I did the piece about the ocean and the sky, that was like I did that on Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which I didn't do on purpose. It just happened to be that month. But
right.
you know, it's like I want you to talk about domestic violence and things like that. Or like, you know, when I talk about my one poem where like I'm super suicidal, like I want you to talk about it, because it's like we don't talk about it. So like we don't talk about like the military veterans who kill people, like how do they feel? Like you don't talk about it. So like I want to talk about it. So that's, you know, I'm here to talk about it so that you can go talk about it. It's not so I can talk about it forever. It's so that you start the conversation because I started it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, oh, nah, you hit the nail on the coffin. I definitely agree with you. That's why I created, like, every other Friday, I have this live called Unraveled Conversations, and it's just that, talk about topics that no one really talks about. Just fuck it. And the first one we did was about depression and seasonal depression, how it affects everybody everyday life. But we really talked about like the real hard hitting conversations, and people were like, "Oh wow, like thanks for talking about it." But that is like you said, we need to talk about this because it's so true. I think it was last week actually. Yeah, last week. We was talking about nostalgia, but then a poet came on here and she started venting, and it was already past 10 because it's from 8 to 10. But I was in the chat, like, you know, with my group. I said, hey, let's just stay because something told me, no, I think this person needs us right now. And I think we finished around midnight, but it was okay. I was actually okay with that. I said, you know what? If she trusted us enough to go on here and just vent to us, then you know what? I'm all for it because you know what? I really think she really needed us, and it was just something that was heavy in her heart. And you know what? And she even hit me up later, like afterwards, saying, "Yo, like thank you for allowing me to say what I gotta say," because she had all this pent up frustration. I said, listen, this is what this is for, man. Because, you know, it's like I was telling people, I'm not, I always say this, and it's going to sound weird, but like, I'm not just another platform on Instagram. I'm really not, you know, because I always try to be different. I always try to stand out because I want people to see, like, no, you can come here and say whatever the fuck you want. Closed. Case closed, you know. So again, like just you and I having this conversation. Again, that really means a lot to me. And again, you really touched on a lot of stuff that really opened my eyes as well. So I really thank you for that as well. And like even after this interview, I hope, yeah, and I really do hope, like after this interview, we still keep in touch and talk about whatever. And you know,
Yeah.
I'll definitely send you like the lives every time we go live and all that stuff. Just overall, you know, I come here, like I come here for the poetry, but I'm also about building friendships and just building community. You know, I had my first open mic hosted up first thing in Bayonne for the first time last year, and to me that meant a lot because I was like, I've never done this shit before. I was like, oh
No,
my
and
god.
Bayonne barely has anything. Like, there's stuff in Jersey City, there's stuff in the Heights, there's stuff in Hoboken, but Bayonne,
Exactly. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna use my platform to do it. So I am working on one soon. I'm looking for something in May. I think I have a few spots already lined up. My goal is to have at least 5 shows before the year's over. That's my goal. So
Oh,
that's the yeah, because there's no art. I don't have live music, but there's no art. Like there's no poetry. So you know what? I gotta bring this shit over here because
yeah.
this. I love Bayonne, but it's a fucking politically correct town. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is up with these people? I'm sorry, Bayonne. I'm not trying to like talk shit, but it's the truth. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta change this shit. Cause yeah, I could go to New York and do whatever, but I don't want to go to New York and do that. Like I really like there's spots, there's locations that don't have shit like that need it. So I want Bayonne to be, you know, even though I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but I consider Bayonne home for me, like an actual home. So I
Yeah.
want to leave some kind of impact behind. So, but yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I'll hit you up in the DMs and we'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
But thank you for just thank you for just being you, and thank you for just not being afraid to be yourself. And I think that's just speaks to me a lot in a way. Like, you know what? I need to stop being scared all the time about certain areas. I say, you know what? I need to confront them and just use it as a badge of honor and just help others, you know. And it is hard, I mean, especially as a man. Like, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. But Yeah,
Yeah.
so thank you, Sammy, so much. Like, I really appreciate you. Again, thank you for this. This was amazing. Before we end the live, do you have any last words? Anything you want to plug in so people could follow you and all that stuff?
I mean, if you want to follow me, I BYMMAS Poetry by Miss Poetry. It's Sammy B backwards. You can follow me at ITSBYMMAS. It's Sammy B backwards. You can follow my art page, BYMMASART, Sammy B backwards art. Or ITSBYMMAS.com. If you look that up, ITSBYMMAS, you'll find my single. And then you can finally follow the different open mics I go to on my Poetry and Paintings New Jersey page. I occasionally host open mics, although for right now it's kind of on hold just because I don't have a car, so it's kind of really hard to get places. But when I do another show, I will let you guys know. And also maybe we could do a joint poetry and painting / unraveling session show in Bayonne.
I would be honored to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm working with the first show. I'll say this, my friend Florence tonight, because she has Poetry as Promised, so we're actually doing a collaboration on the first show, and we're gonna call it Unraveled as Promised. So that's just one of the first shows. So I'm definitely down for art, however that looks like. So I'm gonna hit you up with the DMs, and we'll talk more details. But thank you for this interview. I appreciate you. So guys, whether you're watching the replay or whatever the case is, follow Sammy B. You already heard her. So Sammy, thank you so much. Thank you everybody who joined in and or watching the replay, and we will see you soon. So